It was a cold autumn evening in a quiet Canadian town. 28-year-old Daniel had just finished his late shift at a neighborhood grocery store. As he hurried toward the bus stop, he watched the last bus pull away. It was gone. Daniel sighed. He had no money for a taxi and no one to call. The only way home was through an old forest road. People always warned others never to use that road after dark, but Daniel had never believed the stories. The deeper Daniel walked into the forest, the stranger everything became. The wind stopped blowing. The birds went silent. Even the sound of his footsteps echoed through the trees. After walking for nearly 20 minutes, Daniel discovered an old bus stop hidden beside the road. It looked abandoned. A rusty sign read, Route 13, last departure, midnight. Daniel had never seen it before. As Daniel rested on the old bench, bright headlights appeared through the thick fog. An old blue bus slowly pulled up. The driver smiled and asked, heading home? Tired and curious, Daniel stepped onto the bus. Inside, 5 passengers sat in complete silence. An elderly woman held flowers. A businessman stared out the window. A young soldier sat motionless. A little girl hugged a teddy bear. A man quietly read an old newspaper. The bus drove deeper into the forest. Daniel checked his phone. There was no signal. He looked at his watch. It read 11:58 p.m. Minutes passed, but the time never changed. The little girl suddenly whispered, "Don't look outside after midnight." Before Daniel could ask why, the clock struck 12. The lights flickered, and icy frost covered every window. Daniel looked outside. The forest had vanished. The bus was now traveling through in a band. When Daniel looked back at the passengers, they had changed. Their faces looked pale and lifeless. The driver calmly said, "You weren't supposed to get on this bus." The driver explained that Route 13 carried only those who had missed their final chance. But somehow, Daniel had boarded by mistake. "You still belong to the world of the living," the driver said. The bus stopped beside another lonely bus stop. The driver opened the door and said, "Step off now, and you'll wake up. Stay, and you'll never leave." Without thinking twice, Daniel jumped off the bus. Daniel opened his eyes the next morning beside the forest road. A police officer told him he had been missing all night. There was no bus stop, only the quiet forest. Weeks later, Daniel found an old newspaper in the town library. It reported that Route 13 had crashed in 1978, killing everyone on board. The faded photo showed the same driver and the same passengers Daniel had seen. Since then, whenever fog covered the forest road, Daniel never walked that way again, because some roads are best left forgotten.